Welcome to Tech Brothers with Amer. Today we are going to learn how to split single column into multiple columns in SSIS. So there are some scenarios when we have a single column with comma delimited or pipe and such as the full address, and we want to split that into multiple columns. So I'm going to show you one example that we are going to use here. So let's say we have a file, that's the Excel file, and in this one we have a column called name, and the second column is called full address. So we have a full address, street address, city, state, and zip, and they are comma delimited, but they are in one column. So we have to split them in the SSIS package, and we have to load this one into the table. So I have created a table with the definition. So it will be having let me refresh this table. So it will have a customer name, street address, city, state, and zip. So that's the columns we have it. But right now what we have in Excel, we have one column that called full address, and that is a comma delimited. So we have to extract each value such as city, street, city, and state, and zip, and then we can map to our table. So let's open. Let me go back here. I have written some points here. So there are multiple ways to do that. One, we can use a script component transformation and perform this operation. Sometimes it is hard, there are so many developers, they are not really great in writing C# or VB code, and it is hard for them to write or use the script component transformation. So other alternative what we have, we can use a derived column transformation, and that's absolutely fine as it is given transformation, and we can write the expressions in the derived column transformation to extract our information from single column and split into multiple columns. So what we will learn in this demo, we will learn how to use the FindString function, how to use the Substring function, and how to use the length function, and how to write the expressions in derived column transformation. So let's open SSDT SQL Server Data Tools or bids, whatever you have according to version of SSIS you are using. So I have opened a project. I'm going to create a new package. So new package is created. It's called package 3. So let's rename it. Okay, so I'm naming this one split single column to multiple columns. So that's what I named it. Now to read the data from Excel, we need a data flow task. As inside the data flow task, we will be able to use the Excel source. So open the data flow task. Now we have to bring the source. So click on other sources, or if you are using bids, you will be having sources, and then you will extract Excel source in this data flow pane. Now we have Excel source. Let's double click on this one. Now hit new, as we have to create a connection to the file. So we have to browse. So in my case, I'm going to select Excel 2007. That's version of Excel I'm using on my machine. So you will select according to yours, and then we go to desktop, input folders, and here is my file. So I'm browsing to that file. So everything looks good. First row has a column names. So in my case, yes, that's right. And then I have to select the sheet name. So my data is on sheet 1. So I have selected that one. Now we go to columns, and columns are coming correct. So let's hit OK now. Next part is we need to bring the derived column transformation. So I will find this one here, and we say derived column transformation. Now bring it here. Let's make it a little big so everybody can see that. Now connect the Excel source to the derived column transformation. Here we need to extract that information now. So we have a name, we don't have to worry about that. That will be going in downstream automatically. Now from full name we have to extract street address. So that's the very first one. So if I will bring here, I'm gonna create a new column called street address. So what we see here, this is full address. So this has let me open the Excel so I can show you as well. So this one has all this street, city, state and zip. I am interested only to extract the first part before the first comma. So that's what I'm interested in. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use substring, right? So if I know substring, I can actually, let me show you how to, where are the substring. So here in the string functions, we have a substring. So substring, you bring the substring here, then it asks you the fill those parameters or inputs what it need. Here it need a character expression, that means it need a column, so we provide the column here. Second part, it's in starting, so we know that the start of that string should be 1, and then it is asking what length you want to extract. So if I will say, okay, I want to extract maybe 10 or 20 or 16, so I can provide that one. So it is going to read from first character to 16 character. But what is happening here, if you will see 720 red oak, that's 3 and that's 11 characters, but other one has more characters. So here I cannot make a decision because I know I need to extract everything before the comma for a street address from each of the row, but I don't know, sometimes the address can be the street address can be long, so I don't know what exactly I need to provide. I cannot provide the hard code value, so I have to find that index or the place for each of the row. So we can use instead of 16 or 13 here, we can use the FindString function here. The FindString function we can extract here. Let me just pull that. So you bring the FindString function here. Instead of providing hard code value, just bring the FindString function here. So what it asks us provide the character expression. So we did, and then next it is saying which string you are looking for. So we are looking for a comma, as we have comma delimited, right? So here I put the comma in double quotes, and then it's an occurrence. Tell me in the occurrence you are looking for. So I said, okay, the very first occurrence from left to right. So it is in it got that. Now what is happening, it is going to find the very first occurrence of that comma in each of the row and give us the index number of that comma. So now let's take this whole thing as it is, hit OK. Now let me put a multicast so I can show you, and here we are gonna add the data viewer so we can see what exactly happened. Now if you run this one, it is going to return us a street address. So you can see here it did return us. So it returned us the comma, where the comma was, it returned us that position number. So we use that in the substring. So we said, okay, start with the 1, and then whatever the find string returns you for the first comma, that's the number you need to use. So but we are not interested to have the comma, so we can simply subtract -1 from the find string value, and that will give us only the street address without comma. So see, from the find string, let's say find string gave me in the position for the very first row is 12 for the comma. So I subtracted -1, so I'm only interested without the comma. So that's how we will build our expressions. So this is good. So if we run this one again, now we will see the street address will come correct without a comma. Next part is excuse me. Next part, we have to build our expressions for city. So we got the street, now we have to build for city. So if you take a look, city, we have first comma here, and then we have a second comma at the end. So we can go back and write our expressions. So we know that we need to use substring. Let's bring the substring here. The expressions we know that we have to extract from the full address column. Starting, now here starting will be the position of that comma. So we know that we have already used that one. So FindString can give us that position or index. So I can use these expressions here in the start. So I said that, okay, find string in the full address, find me comma at very first place from left to the right. So it is going to find that. Okay, now when it will find it, then we have to provide the length to the substring, right? This is first starting point for substring. Now we have to provide the length. So what we can do, we know that, okay, so the first comma and then second comma, right? So if what I will do, I will get the second comma position. Let's say, let me get this one and put it here, and then if I will got the second comma position, let's say I got this is on 20 and this is on 12, so I need only 8 characters, right? So if I will subtract the first value that is returned by the find string from the second value that is returned by the find string, it will give me these number of characters, right? So I can go here and then I can just simply, so I got the second one, and then I'm going to subtract that position. So I'm going to subtract minus this one, right? So there is a small thing I would like to tell you once I will show you. Okay, so let's say we have city. Now we are going to go back in the data viewer. So we add the city to it. Now run that, and we see that in the city the starting have the comma, so that we have to remove it. So how we can do that? Here we come back and then if we will, this is the starting point, if we will add 1 here, so we will be starting right next to the comma. So if we will add 1 to the very first find string value for the very first comma that is returning, we don't want to include the comma but the next value. So that's why I added index plus 1. Okay, hit OK. Now run this one. And now you see that, okay, also on the end we see this comma in the city, so that we have to remove it. So let's go back here, and then we have to get the whatever we got it here, then we have to subtract 1 value from there. So we have find string minus this, and then we can subtract minus 1 from entire value. Okay, so that's all good. Now let's run it and see what happened. Okay, city is coming clean, and now we have full address, the street address that's coming clean. So now on the next one is we have state, that's 2 characters. So what we are going to do, now we know that how to build that, and just we need to copy the second one as it is, and now paste it here. So we know, okay, in here we are extracting from the second position, okay, and here we are going to the third position. So we will put third here, and here we will subtract the second comma position, and that's it. So we will just name this one as a state. Hit OK. I know this is a little long video, but I want to show you all the things what I did, and you can learn it. So we have sorry, we didn't include the zip here. Let me include in the data viewer. So we have state. So we have state now, comment correct, city comment correct, and we have address, that's also comment, street address comment correct, right? So the last thing we have to do, we will be having a zip. So here if we see that this is the last comma, this is the fourth comma, so sorry, 1, 2 and third comma. So we know that if we get the position of this third comma in this value, that's our starting, and then we have end. So we don't have any end comma or anything. We have to approach in a different way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the position of this comma, take the length of the entire thing, and then subtract both of them and get this value, because the zip can be possibly, let's say zip is this zip code is, let's say it's not going to be 20 characters, but let's suppose it is more, some of them are more or some of them small. So we don't know exactly how much length of these will be, but that's the way we will be get the position of third, then take the entire length of the this whole row, and then subtract from the that length and get that value for only zip. So let me do it. So now what we are going to do here, let's say if I will do substring, and full address, and then we have find this one, and then I'm going to take the length here. Okay, so I'm going to copy the some part of that. So we know that, okay, let me put this one is called zip. We start with the substring. We know that substring from the third comma, so that's our starting point. We add the one because we do not want to include the comma. The second part, if I will take the length of the entire thing, so if I will say length is in column, that will give the length of the entire row. So we have that, so I put the length and then use a full address, and then if I will subtract the position of the third comma, that's the index number or the position of that, and then that will be taken care. So here what we have to put an extra parenthesis so we can close it. So let's try this and see what happened. Now we have to add the zip here. Okay, so now we go ahead and run it and see if we get the correct result. So we got the correct result. So we this is how you will be splitting a single column values into multiple columns. Now we have the values, we are all good. The next part is you might want to change the data type of these columns. Let's say this is Unicode when we wrote these expressions. So in this case, let's say I have this string, so I can use dt underscore, let me show you actually the cast. So we have typecast here that you want to convert to any data type, you can use from here. So let's say if I'm interested to convert to varchar, so I can use dt_str. Here I will provide the length of that character, like number of character, let's say 50 characters. Here is the code, that's a correlation code 1252. So that's see it changed to the string dt_str from Unicode. So it is changed from the varchar to the char. So I can copy this whole thing here and just paste it moving forward. Control V, Control V, and then Control V. So let's say zip is 10 characters, so I can just change to 10. So anything you want to convert, you can, if it's your zip code is let's say it is integer, and you can say dt_i4, that's the signed integer, and you have other values as well. See here, so you have sorry dtui4, you have a dti4 and all that. So you can change to anything what you want here. So once we are done, we are all good. Remove the multicast. This was just here for the testing purpose. Now we have a destination. Put the OLEDB destination here. Connect that. Now create a new connection. So we have I don't have the connection for the test database, so I'm going to create a new one. So let me get that server name. We can click here and get the server name, or you can write it here. If you write it, it's better, but if you click here, it will take some time to bring that. Now our table is in the test database, so I selected the test. Connection is successful. Hit OK. Now OK, and now you go ahead and map to the customer table. All right, if sorry, wrong table, so let me cancel this. The table we need to select is sales customer, so the schema is different. So let's go now, and we can see that most of the columns are mapped automatically. If not, the names are different in the input side and the destination side, so you have to manually map them. So once you map them, okay, what happened? Now it is saying name and num cannot be converted because of Unicode. So let's see what exactly is the issue. Click here and now go to mapping. Now here on the name we have Unicode. Here what we have is a string. So let's go back and see what happened. So name comment, we didn't convert that to the correct varchar, so we can also convert that to varchar here. So let me take this same approach. We just copy and paste it here, and name is 100, so I'm going to make this one to 100, and I call it drv name, so it is derived, or we can replace our choice. So now hit OK, and here we're going to go back to mapping, and now we are going to use that column and hit OK. Now we are all good. See, here is warning sign. So if your data type or data type lengths are not correct, so you have to correct that. In our case, it doesn't really matter, but it is telling us the state. See, state on the source is 50, but state on the other side is only 2. So it is telling us if there would be more values coming for state, you will get error, truncation error. So I'm gonna change that one to 2. Now we are all good. Let's run the package. The package got completed. So let's go to the table. Now if we select the data, we will be able to see the data, and it is splitted into multiple columns from single column. And we used substring, we used FindString, we used the length, and those are the function we use in the derived column transformation to perform this task. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I have the these expressions on the blog post as well. If you want to just copy and replace according to your requirement, you can go ahead and do it. Thanks.